Hey everyone, it's Waloladipo here. Today's video focuses on reviewing, guess what? The Audi e-tron Sportback Edition 55 Quattro. And the good news is that I'm going to be comparing that with my EQC400. Now, if you are looking for a premium electric car in this category, I'm sure these two cars, you can see the EQC just at the back right there. I'm going to zoom in a minute. I'm sure you are thinking about these two cars if you are looking at buying an EV in this category. Now I'm going to be comparing the external, the interior, and I'll give them for a test drive. Well, I've owned the EQC400 rather for about 8 months now, so I know how it drives. So for those of you who are indecisive, perhaps this video will help you out. Please make sure you watch till the end. And by the way, if you've not subscribed yet, make sure that you click the subscribe button. Get on board. There's a whole bunch of things that I'm going to be sharing with you that will be fascinating. Okay, let's look at the exterior of Audi e-tron Sportback version that is actually more expensive than the regular version. What do you think about the front? What do you think about the front? So look at the grille section right here. Very, very Audi-like. So this particular one has got the 21-inch massive alloy wheels. And this is my favorite, by the way. I'm just charging that using my charging port right there. Now look at that. If you want to open this, you just press that. Look at that, how cool that is. And when you plug it in, you press that to release it. So the lights flashes. You release it, and guess what? Look at that. It closes automatically. That is fantastic. I think Mercedes-Benz needs to take a lesson or two from that automation. And also, if you look at the other side, there's another charging port at the other side, just in case you park differently. What about the back? What do you think about the back? So how does it feel in the cabin area? How does it feel? It feels like a proper Audi. It feels like an Audi. I like this huge space right there. But you just feel like something has to cover this. It shouldn't be open like this. But you have your two cup holders there. You have your charging port there. The 12-volt port right there. And this is the gear selector. Actually, you rest your hand on this, and this is where you just press around to select the P, the N, the R, and the D or the sport mode. So we have two iPads basically right there, and the top one controls all your infotainment system, and the bottom one controls your climate control. So if I start this car right now, I just want to show you the dashboard. What do you think about the dashboard design? To be honest, in terms of the build quality, you can tell that Audi is probably winning. The build quality is fantastic. I did not mean the materials used. It's just how things are put together. This is sophistication at the highest level. Things are put together in a precisely minutiae level that just radiates engineering, top engineering. The steering wheel, it looks great. Looks great. So in terms of the build quality, I'll give it to the e-tron. But in terms of the materials used and how those materials combine together make you feel, I think the Mercedes, it makes it just slightly more special to be in the cabin. It looks big, it looks nice, but doesn't give you the feeling of that specialness that you experience in the EQC. And if you want to find it out yourself, you need to go and test these cars out and ride the two cars and come back to me to see how you feel about how those cars make you feel, the kind of emotionality that they communicate to you. As far as I'm concerned, with regards to the feeling and that specialness, that being pampered while you're driving, I will go for Mercedes all day long. But this is fantastic car. So you basically start this car right there. Did you hear that? And it welcomes you with that chime. So we have this touch iPad thing that is actually touch sensitive. That's a feeling of clicking something when you enter them. And this is nice and slick and nicely done, very responsive. Everything that you need is here, which is great. But this is where you do your controls, which is great, but I would have preferred some actual buttons to make driving experience a lot easier. Because if you're driving and trying to do this, clicking things like this on the touch screen, it could be very, very uncertain and precarious. It could distract you. But since that's where the world is going at the moment, so we have the button, the volume control here rather actually, which is fantastic. So that's good. So it just looks like a normal Audi car, a combustion engine car. Whereas you look at Mercedes, well, once you get into the Mercedes, you know that something's different. I gave a friend a lift from football yesterday, and it's never seen that car before. And you just go into the Mercedes and say, "Oh, is this an electric car? It looks different." So maybe that is what Mercedes. That's what they're trying to think when they design the Mercedes-Benz the way it is. The look of the Mercedes is still very divisive. I don't know whether I should hate it or I should like it. Of course, this is the 19-inch. You can upgrade to 21-inch. Very nice inch. So what do you think? Do you like it or do you hate it? I can't get into the frontal grille properly for you to see that. I'm sure you've seen this several times somewhere else. So that's interesting. I'm sure you want to see how this drives. So I'm going to take this for a test drive. I've driven the Mercedes for a long time now. So the next thing is to give it a drive, and I'll let you know how that goes. So we want to compare this with the EQC that I've owned for about 8 months now. And actually I test drove this car before I actually got my EQC, and I still got my EQC, so that tells you something. But that is not because this car is not fantastic. It's actually a great car to drive. I'm going to be sharing with you my thoughts. So let's give it a quick test drive. I like the reverse camera, which is great. Just want to make sure that I don't run my EQC over right there. That would not be good. Imagine crashing into the EQC that I'm supposed to be comparing. Okay, I think I'm all right. Good. Just getting out of my drive right now to give this car a test drive. Now I've reversed out of my drive away several times, of course, with my EQC. But you could feel straight away that this car is a bigger car. So we know that this car has got it weighs around 2,555 kg, just about 60 or 70 kg heavier than my EQC. But you could feel as a drive away, you could feel that is a heavier car. And you're looking around, the car is fantastically built. In terms of the build quality, I will give it to the e-tron. Not, we forget, of course, not because they use a better material or the layout is better, but everything you touch is just solid. It's incredible. Everything you touch is solid. And you could feel that the engineering of this doesn't cut any corner. Everything is fitted perfectly. Everything works. Even the control systems, the infotainment system, even though it can easily be infiltrated with fingerprints, but that doesn't mean anything. It works perfectly. It's close to you, and you're able to interact with it easily, which is fantastic. Only that when you're driving and you're trying to do your climate control, that could cause an issue because you're trying to look down here and there's no button to do that. That could cause an issue. But other than that, I'm sure you get used to it. It's not a major issue at all. No. Oh, sorry. Didn't know what I did there. I wanted to take my glasses. So this doesn't have the sunglasses compartment, which is a shame because when it's sunny like this, you want to put your sunglasses on. The Mercedes-Benz has a compartment where you keep your sunglasses. I've done that several times. I thought it's here actually. It's a comfy car to sit in. It drives as it's driving. The way it drives reflects its build quality, if you know what I mean. It's steady. You can see that it's well planted to the ground. It's a four-wheel drive. This is the 50 Quattro, a sportback version that actually starts with, you can't believe it, it starts from 79,500 pounds, British pounds. It's a lot expensive than the base version, the baseline version of the EQC, which started at around 65. Now the sport version of the e-tron starts around 71. This is the sportback version, which somehow is more expensive because it has this slopey roof a little bit that makes it a little bit more sporty, but it's the same car. So the e-tron comes out as more expensive at the baseline level. Of course, if you start to spec it all up, they might eventually be equal to the same specification or the same price. So how does it feel like driving? How does it drive? I think it drives well. It drives it drives like an Audi, basically. Apart from the quietness, it's nice and quiet. I'm used to an electric car now, so I can just feel that quietness that you feel. The acoustic is nice because it shuts away a whole bunch of noises. I'm just thinking which one is quieter between the EQC and the e-tron. It feels as if the EQC is just a little bit quieter on the motorway. I'm doing about 70 miles an hour now, so the EQC is slightly quieter. I can hear the road noise and the tire noise a little bit more than I did hear it in the EQC. The EQC is a little bit quieter if I'm to compare. The steering wheel is actually very, very nice. It's responsive. However, I think the steering wheel in the EQC interacts with it better. It's more engaging. There's a feel to it better than the steering wheel of the e-tron. It's adequate. It's great. It's fantastic, but just a little bit less engaging and interactive. If you know what I mean, I don't know how to explain that, but that's something you feel that when you drive different types of cars. There's some cars that have this numbing feeling, and Audi is known for that. But this is not numbed at all. It interacts with it, it's agile, it does what it does, it does what it's supposed to do, is very, very accurate. And the sitting position is nice. You could tell the car is bigger if you're comparing it with the EQC. But the overall feeling of being in the cabin, a cabin that basically makes you feel special, extra special, I would be going for the EQC. As far as I'm concerned, the EQC have that aura of specialness to it that the Audi e-tron. The more I drive the e-tron, the more I desire my EQC. Now, because it's a very heavy car, as I'm going through the bend right now, you can feel it. But the seat is so comfortable, especially this particular seat. It has this edge. The edge of the seat kind of knocks it back to the position when you're trying to go around the corner, as I've just done right now. It knocks you back to the other opposite side so that it basically supports you, which is fantastic. So it does not make the roll and the body roll to be very obvious. And I think it just deals with corners a little bit better than the EQC, because the EQC seats are designed for comfort, very comfortable, possibly more comfortable than these, with regards to the way they make you feel. But there's almost like a support system that is built with these seats right here, that when you throw this big car into a corner, it kind of envelopes you and gets you to the other side, basically counteracting the force of the circuit that you're going through, which is fantastic. So a little bit more of the road noise in the e-tron, but in terms of the grip, in terms of how it drives, it's wonderful. It's great. So it depends on your taste. If you want more room, because this one has got a whole bunch of extra room compared to the EQC, about 615 liters of boot space. If you collapse the rear seats, you get over 1,500 of boot space. I think so. Yeah. And if you collapse the back portion, the back seats, the rear seats of the EQC, you get over 1,000. So it's a smaller car, but that means driving the EQC around town is also more manageable because it's a little bit smaller. So you feel that you can easily cover the ground with regards to the parameters of the car a lot better. So what do you think? Which one would you go for? This is the Sportback version that starts from 79,000. As far as I'm concerned, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to get the e-tron, unless I'm crazy about space. If I'm not crazy about space, if I'm looking for luxury and comfort and enjoyment, I will go for the EQC, which is from 65,000 baseline price before you spec it up. So what do you think? Put your comments below, and it would be nice to hear your views. Those of you who've test driven both cars. And if you're in the market for one of these, what do you think? What are your preferences? What are your needs? What are your intentions? As far as I'm concerned, this is a fantastic car to drive. Feel comfortable. The sitting position is great, but that wow factor, in my opinion, we always go towards the EQC. The wow factor will go to the EQC. Not because I'm biased, not because I've had EQC for over 8 months now, but because that is how I feel. It pampers you. There's a sense of specialness that you get from the EQC. So what happens is that not everything about the EQC cabin design that I like, but they don't offend me either. For example, the rose gold vents, I don't particularly prefer that. I prefer the interior design of the CLA. I just drove a brand new CLA recently with a turbine shaped air vents, and the ambient lights was fantastic. A lot better than the ones they put in the EQC. And with the texture of the EQC, maybe they could have done a better job. But the way that thing was put together, I think, is ingenious. In the EQC, I mean, because it just relaxes you, even though it might not be to your taste. But it's a nice place to be. It makes you feel pampered, as if you're not in the car, as if you're in a relaxation parlor. And this particular interior to me is very transactional. It's very almost like business oriented. It's like I'm working or something. I'm doing something that is very serious. I'm not having fun, even though I'm supposed to be having fun. But when you drive the Mercedes, it's like you're having fun all the time. It's just crazy. I don't know. That's how I see it. It's like you're having fun constantly. By the way, before I forget, with regards to the range of the EQC and the e-tron are similar. The real world range for this is about 230 in the summer, by the way. In the winter you hardly get 250, 160, depending on how cold it is. For the EQC is better with regards to range management. The official is around 250 miles per single charge. This is about 265 per single charge, the official, but the real range, according to people who've driven, is around 230. The real range for the EQC is also around 230. But because I've owned the EQC for over 8 months now, I've seen the fluctuating nature of range depending on what the weather is doing and depending on how you're driving it. So, for example, I've done over 250. I've done 280, 275 in some cases in the summer. But as the winter strikes, you realize that your range is going down the drain. Charging, you can charge this car overnight using the wall box at home, between 10 to 11 hours. This one has about 90 kilowatt hour battery capacity, 95 usable capacity of battery. But the EQC has 80 kilowatt hour usable capacity. So the e-tron has smaller battery but better technology with regards to range. This has a bigger battery, but it doesn't do as well, and it's known to chop through range as well. So the range integrity is not as good as you will find in the EQC. So, what do you think? What do you prefer? Do you prefer the EQC or do you prefer the e-tron? As far as I'm concerned, these are two great cars, but different priorities, different feelings. So that is my EQC over there. Anytime I get out of the house or I'm coming in like this in a different car, I look at it thinking, do I like it? Or maybe I don't like it. But very quickly as I'm thinking about it, I forget about it. So it doesn't offend me. At the same time, it perplexes me every day. I'll tell you what I like though. I like the Jaguar I-Pace exterior. So if I can get the exterior of the Jaguar I-Pace and the interior of the EQC, that would make an interesting car. What do you think? So it's Wallo Ladipo here. I hope you've enjoyed the session. Please like it and subscribe if you've not subscribed before. And let's ride this journey together. A whole bunch of good stuff that I'll be putting out there. All the very best. Thank you.